The first project that I created was just us. I created the project because I wanted to see a project that discussed some generational curses within certain families. I didn't know how to actually formally write a script, so what I did was I wrote down, or I made a short list of generational curses, and I decided to draft a script out of that. I also knew how to write a 3.5 essay. So I just used what I learned with writing a 3.5 essay in order to finalize the script or create the first draft of the script. After I did the first draft of the script, I went into casting. So word of advice, don't go into casting after you only written one draft of a script. But that's what I did, so that's what it was at the time. So I went into the casting process and I actually spoke with or auditioned a lot of Black women for the 2 lead roles. And during that process, I asked them what was their experiences with colorism. And everybody, regardless of their skin complexion, had some type of negative experience with colorism. So at that point, that's when I decided to rewrite the script, because the first script was more broad, but after the casting process, I was able to make it more specific. So after I finalized the script and I cast the 2 lead characters, I went on a search for the crew. I knew I didn't have the finances to actually have a full crew, so I Googled to see who were the 2 or the key components that were needed in order to shoot a movie. And the main people that came up were the DP and sound. So I ended up finding an amazing woman to DP the project, and a friend of mine came from a background in production, and she was also a supporting character in the short film, so she helped us with sound. When she wasn't in the project, she was working sound, and when she was in the project, our DP was working sound. So we ended up being a cast and crew of around 6 people. We made it work. We shot the project in one day. It was one location, which saved a lot of money. And after we shot the project, I went into post. Going into post was different because I really didn't know what to do or who to look for. So I Googled again and I realized that I needed an editor. So I found someone to edit the project who he did an amazing job. And after editing the project, I submitted it into some festivals, so I didn't release it until around a year later because of the requirements of the festivals. Once I released it, the feedback was amazing. I actually had one person tell me that she let her daughter see it because her daughter was having problems in school. And she said that the short film helped her daughter, and her, have that type of conversation. So I really wish I would have released it differently, but that helped me with creating my second project, which we'll discuss next week. So some of the changes that I would have made would have been, I would have done a few rewrites before going into casting. The second thing that I would have changed was I would have looked more into set design. I couldn't afford a set designer, but I felt like I could have did a Google search to see what I could have come up with myself. And the third thing would have been, I would have released it differently. I felt like I could have put more marketing behind the project.